You know that walk into a room where your face feels borrowed and everyone somehow notices. Your hands act normal until a handshake appears. Then suddenly they belong to a malfunctioning stranger. You rehearse one sentence, but the moment arrives and your voice exits wearing somebody else's panic. Meanwhile, the loudest person in the room says nonsense confidently, and everyone treats it like weather. That is the insult nobody mentions. Confidence often looks natural, even when it is mostly choreography. If social anxiety lives in your chest, you already know the exhausting math behind every interaction. Where should I stand? What should I do? When should I smile? Did that sound weird? And the cruel part is, the harder you try seeming calm, the less relaxed you look. So this video is not about becoming fearless, louder, cooler, or magically transformed into someone else. It is about looking grounded while your nervous system is doing cartwheels quietly behind your ribs. And yes, that is possible, even if your brain currently thinks every stranger is a courtroom. Because people are not reading your heartbeat nearly as clearly as you think they are today. What they read first is shape, pace, eye contact, breathing, and whether you seem at war. That means confidence is partly emotional, but mostly visible behavior interpreted through other people's lazy shortcuts. Once you understand those shortcuts, you stop chasing impossible calm and start performing believable steadiness instead. And I'm going to show you 3 shifts that change everything when anxiety takes over. First, how to control the picture people see before you even say one single word aloud. Second, how to sound more confident without faking some deep movie trailer voice for other people. And third, the move that makes people trust you faster, even while you still feel shaky. That last one is weirdly powerful because it has almost nothing to do with appearing impressive. Before we get there, let me say something your anxious brain badly needs to hear today. You do not need to erase anxiety to stop broadcasting insecurity through movement, pause, and glance. Most people think confidence starts inside, then naturally leaks outward through posture, words, and expression daily. But when anxiety is involved, waiting to feel confident first is like waiting for rain indoors. Your body has to lead because your mind is currently the unreliable narrator of the scene. So shift 1 is brutally simple. Stop trying to look unworried and start looking unhurried instead. Anxious people rush everything because speed feels like escape, and escape feels temporarily safer than presence. They enter rooms quickly, answer quickly, laugh quickly, apologize quickly, and leave conversations before they breathe. But confidence moves half a beat slower, not because it is superior, but because it settles. Think about someone entering a meeting, putting down their bag, looking around, then speaking without hurry. Nothing dramatic happened, yet the room breeds composure, because deliberate movement signals safety to everybody watching. Your first practice is walking 10% slower than your anxiety wants whenever you enter anywhere. Not slow like a performance, just slow enough that your body stops begging room for mercy. Set your feet before you talk, lower your shoulders, and let your face arrive with you. That pause feels illegal at first, which is exactly why it changes how people read you. Because frantic energy says, "Please do not judge me," while measured energy says, "I handle judgment." And here is the twist. Moving slower also calms you faster, because bodies believe repeated behavior. When you stop behaving hunted, your nervous system starts questioning whether danger is actually present there. A woman at a networking event once told me her trick was carrying water like royalty. She would pour slowly, sip not once, and suddenly nobody saw the storm in her chest. They saw someone comfortable enough to occupy time without apologizing for it in front of strangers. That is what unhurried behavior does. It borrows authority from time itself and lends it back. Now, moving slower is not enough if your face still looks like an emergency alert today. Which brings us to shift 2. Stop scanning the room like it contains hidden snipers everywhere. Social anxiety makes your eyes act like searchlights, constantly checking reactions, threats, exits, and signs nearby. You think that scanning helps, but it actually advertises tension because your attention never lands anywhere. Confident people do not visually grab everything at once. They rest their attention on one thing. A face, a cup, the person speaking, the chair they're about to sit in on. Their gaze says, "I am here enough to notice this moment, not escape it right now." So, instead of darting your eyes around, choose anchors that keep your attention attached to present. When someone talks, look at one eye, then the other, then briefly at their mouth naturally. It creates natural eye contact without that terrifying feeling of staring into someone's soul too long. If you're standing, feel both feet pressing down while you listen instead of floating upward. If you are sitting, rest your forearms somewhere solid so your body receives a stability cue. These anchors do not remove anxiety, but they prevent anxiety from hijacking your visible behavior completely. And that matters, because people respond mostly to what you display, not what you silently endure. There is another benefit nobody mentions. Anchors give your brain a job besides useless self-surveillance. Instead of asking, "Do I look weird?" you start asking, "What is this person actually saying?" That shift sounds tiny, but socially it is enormous because presence feels like confidence to others. People trust the person who seems engaged even more than the person who seems polished already. And engagement is easier to fake badly than to build simply by paying attention right now. If this is already hitting a nerve, like the video and subscribe for more social rewiring. And tell me in the comments which moment exposes you fastest: introductions, chats, or eye contact. Now let us fix the thing most anxious people obsess over: first sounding confident when speaking. Because nothing feels worse than hearing your own voice come out thin, rushed, and apologetic somehow. So shift 3 is not lowering your voice. It is finishing your sentences completely each time. Anxiety clips endings because your brain wants out before anyone can react, question, interrupt, or judge. So you trail off, swallow words, speed through the final phrase, and accidentally sound uncertain afterward. Confident speakers land the plane, even with a slightly shaky voice, because completion reads as certainty. They let the last word exist instead of tossing it away like evidence during a trial. Try this in low-stakes conversations. Put a tiny period after your final word every time. Not a dramatic pause, just one beat where your mouth closes and your body stays put. That beat tells people, "I meant what I said, and I do not need rescuing afterward." And here is the beautiful part. Even when your voice shakes, a completed sentence sounds stronger. People forgive shaky sound faster than they forgive nervous fragmentation, because coherence feels safer than polish. Think about ordering coffee while anxious. Clear endings sound steadier than mumbling options and disappearing emotionally. Medium latte, oat milk, no sugar, thank you, lands better than a sentence buried under apologies. Same request, same person, different delivery, completely different emotional impression in the cashier's mind within seconds. Now those 3 shifts already change how you look in everyday situations before confidence ever arrives. But there is another layer, and this is where socially anxious people usually sabotage themselves hardest. They believe confidence means minimizing awkwardness, avoiding mistakes, and never letting anyone see discomfort at all. That belief sounds reasonable, but it turns you into a full-time editor of your humanity. And editors are terrible company because they are always cutting, correcting, and panicking about tone mid-sentence. Real confidence is not spotless behavior. It is non-defensive behavior after small social imperfections inevitably happen. This is the withheld secret most people miss, and it changes everything faster than perfect posture. What makes somebody seem secure is not never fumbling. It is how little they flinch afterward. They mispronounce a name, smile, correct it, and keep moving instead of collapsing into self-punishment. They drop a joke that fails, shrug and pivot without begging the room to forgive them. They forget a point, pause, find it, and continue like memory glitches are survivable for adults. Because they are, and everybody mature in the room knows small awkward moments happen to humans. What reads as insecurity is not the mistake itself, but the desperate attempt to erase it. That attempt creates the exact spotlight you hope to avoid, because everyone can feel the recoil. So the deepest confidence move is this: recover quickly, without self-betrayal, and remain emotionally available. If your voice cracks, breathe once and continue the sentence like nothing sacred was broken there. If you blank in a conversation, say, "Give me a second, I lost the thread briefly." That sentence sounds calmer than panicked filler because honesty lands cleaner than camouflage under pressure today. If you stumble over an introduction, just restart your name with a small grin and continue. That restart does something magical. It shows you are not fighting reality in front of others. And people relax around the person who is not secretly wrestling the air all night long. Here is why this matters so much. Humans mirror emotional regulation faster than words in rooms. When you recover smoothly, other people stop bracing for your collapse and start trusting your presence. That trust is the real currency of confidence, not volume, dominance, or perfect smoothness at all. This is why some quiet people feel powerful the second they speak, even before saying much. They are not performing fearlessness. They are refusing to panic about being seen by others today. Now let us bring everything together in one everyday scene you have probably survived badly before. You walk into a group already talking, and your stomach immediately starts writing disaster fan fiction again. Old you speeds up, scans faces, forces a smile, says something half-audible, then mentally explodes. New you enters slower, plants both feet, lets your shoulders drop, and picks one face first. You listen long enough to catch the topic, then join with a full sentence when ready. Maybe your voice shakes a little, but you finish the thought and stay there afterward too. If the delivery comes out awkward, you do not scramble to erase it or apologize repeatedly. You smile like a human, adjust naturally, and keep participating until the moment stops feeling dangerous. That person looks confident, even though inside they are still managing adrenaline with deliberate, invisible choices. And the room usually rewards them, which makes the next interaction easier, friendlier, and less loaded. That is how confidence actually grows in real life, not through affirmations, but through proof collected. Every survived moment becomes evidence your brain cannot completely argue with anymore, even on harder days. And slowly, the performance becomes less of a performance because your body starts recognizing familiar safety. You still feel anxious sometimes, but now anxiety rides beside you instead of steering everything alone. That is a radically different life than the one social anxiety promised you for years already. Because confidence is not a personality awarded to other people at birth by some private committee. It is a set of visible decisions made under pressure, repeated until they feel ordinary daily. So next time anxiety climbs your throat, do not ask how to feel fearless right away. Ask how to look steady for the next 10 seconds, and then do that again immediately. That is where real change happens. And small recoveries nobody applauds but everybody feels around you. You become confident the moment fear stops directing the version of you that other people meet.